Title, Where Do You Stand? A modern-day retelling that pierces the heart and leaves a mark on the soul. Are you at the intersection? It was a kind of question that slipped in quietly but refused to leave. What will you do with Jesus? That question came to Miles Cooper at 3:12 a.m. on a Wednesday. He was sitting in the intensive care unit waiting room of Lyle MacEwan Hospital in Elizabeth South, in South Australian suburb, sipping burnt coffee from a vending machine and watching the hallway doors swing open and close like a courtroom verdict. His younger brother, Jordan, just 28, was in critical condition from a fentanyl overdose. The doctor said, "We're doing all we can." But that wasn't what haunted Miles. What haunted him was that this was the second time in 4 months. And both times, Jordan had cried out the name of Jesus, while Miles had sat silently, fist clenched, jaw tight, heart stone cold. He wasn't angry at God. He just didn't see the point of him. But now, staring at the vending machine's glass, Miles wasn't so sure anymore. The question had come, and it wasn't going away. It's the wall we all build. Miles wasn't a bad guy. Mid-30s, a certified public accountant, apartment in a nice part of the city. Smart, focused, controlled. He knew how to keep life compartmentalized. Keep faith on one side of the fence and reality on the other. He'd grown up in church, Pentecostal fire on Sundays, casseroles and potlucks on Wednesdays, but walked out in college. Too many questions, too few answers, too many contradictions, and frankly, too much hypocrisy, especially from the church crowd. He remembered the verse from childhood, "What then shall I do with Jesus?" Matthew 27, verse 22. Back then, it felt rhetorical. Now, in a white hospital hallway, it felt surgical. See, we all build emotional walls, defense mechanisms. We scroll past, tune out, laugh off. But Jesus doesn't knock gently forever. Sometimes he kicks the door in with crisis. And this was Miles' crisis. There are 3 ways we can run. There were 3 people in that hospital that night who each answered the Jesus question differently. One, Jordan, from his hospital bed, had already chosen. He'd relapsed, sure, but in his last conscious moments, he was crying out, "Jesus, don't leave me." 2, Carla, the ICU nurse, was like Pilate's wife. She stayed neutral, respectful, spiritual, but not religious. She said to Miles, "Don't blame God. He loves your brother, even when people don't." 3, Miles was Pilate himself, washing his hands emotionally. He wasn't against Jesus. He just didn't want to deal with the commitment. The cross was too heavy. He didn't want his life disturbed. But Jesus doesn't offer middle ground. He said, "He who is not with me is against me." Matthew 12, verse 30. Ouch! It came in the breaking point. Jordan coded that Friday morning at 4:16 a.m. They revived him, but his brain was gone. The family had a choice to make. In that raw, hollow ache of anticipatory grief, Miles went outside into the concrete courtyard and just sat. He didn't pray. He didn't even cry. He just sat in silence, as if silence would bargain with God. And then something happened. A stranger, homeless looking, maybe a Vietnam vet, walked by, stopped and said, "You look like a man who's tired of carrying the whole world. Let me tell you something. Jesus already did." And he walked away. Just that, one sentence. But it hit Miles like a wrecking ball. His control broke. He sobbed. In public. For the first time since he was 14. It was a shift. That Sunday, Miles walked into a small church on South Ashland Avenue. He didn't know why. He wasn't planning to stay. But he stayed. The pastor, preaching without theatrics or gimmicks, simply read, "I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me." Galatians 2, verse 20. That verse punched through his heart like a freight train. He didn't walk forward that day. No altar call, but something shifted. A surrender, a crumbling of walls, a soft whisper of, "I don't have all the answers, but I know I need you." That's the day Miles started following, not performing, not pretending. Following. Everyday lessons just for you. If you're reading this, or better yet, if you're really listening intently, and intentionally to the story. I'm saying to you, ask yourself, are you rejecting him because his truth makes you uncomfortable? Are you avoiding him because you're afraid of being disturbed? Or are you finally ready to accept him and let him live in you, not just around you? You don't need a hospital or a crisis to come to this, but you do need honesty. Here's something to carry into your daily life. Start noticing what you avoid. Jesus shows up in the people you ignore, the thoughts you suppress, the late night aches you drown in noise. He never forces you, but he always invites you, just like he did Pilate, just like he did Miles, just like he's doing with you now. And one last practical shift. Next time you look in the mirror, ask yourself out loud, where do I stand with Jesus today? The power of hearing yourself answer might just change your life. Is this a legacy? Miles didn't become a pastor. He didn't tattoo a cross on his arm or post a Bible verse every day on Instagram, but he became present. He sat with people in grief. He told his brother's story without shame. He mentored addicts. He opened his apartment to a teenage kid from a neighborhood who needed a father figure. He let Jesus live through him. And every year on the anniversary of Jordan's death, he writes 3 words on a piece of paper, burns it, and watches the smoke drift upward into the South Australian sky. I said yes. The takeaway just for you. The question never goes away. What will you do with Jesus? You don't answer it with words. You answer it with your life. Choose well. And if you haven't yet, today's a really good day to start. It is by seeking God through his word that you shall find him. Penned by Gary Conan Doyle. In worship of God's wonderful glory. Hey, thanks for listening. If you're still here, something in this story or song clicked with you. So here's a little secret. When you hit thumbs up, it tells the YouTube gremlins, hey, more of this. And if you subscribe, it's like saying, yeah, I want in. So go ahead, tap like, hit subscribe, and make sure you don't miss what's next. Because this ride, it's just getting started.